It's truly disheartening to see the state of our country deteriorate like this. The America that I once knew and loved seems to be slipping away, replaced by a sense of chaos and lawlessness. The upcoming election has everyone on edge, wondering what the future holds for us. Will Biden be able to bring about positive change, or will Trump swoop in and save the day? The issue of illegal immigration is a hot topic that has divided the nation. Opening up our borders and allowing migrants to enter freely has had dire consequences. The lack of a proper vetting program has led to dangerous individuals slipping through the cracks. Drug cartels, criminals, rapists, and murderers have found their way into our country, preying on innocent Americans. The crimes committed by these illegal aliens are horrifying. From the rape and murder of young girls to the assault of minors, the toll on our society is immense. And yet, it seems that our government is more concerned with helping these individuals than taking care of our own people. The homeless crisis in America is another issue that weighs heavily on my mind. Veterans who have served our country with honor are left to fend for themselves on the streets. Many suffer from PTSD and struggle to find the resources they need to cope with their symptoms. Some of our veterans came back from the wars, battered, deeply haunted by some traumatic experiences they encountered. There is lack of proper help for our veterans to adjust back to civilian life and finding decent jobs. Statistics show the average number of veteran suicides per day rose from 16.4 in 2001 to 16.8 in 2020. In 2021, research found that 30,177 active duty personnel and veterans who served in the military after 9/11 have died by suicide, compared to the 7,057 service members killed in combat in those same 20 years. That is, military suicide rates are 4 times higher than deaths that occurred during military operations. And yet, illegal aliens are given preferential treatment, housed in hotels, and given allowances while our own citizens suffer. The drugs epidemic is yet another problem that plagues our society. Homeless individuals are falling victim to drug use, leading to criminal records and severe mental health issues. Yet the government is not going to put in the efforts to tackle this serious conundrum. Another alarming issue we face is that illegal immigrants and homeless vagabonds have become squatters, destroying properties and causing chaos in our communities. Yet rent and prices of everyday commodities continues to soar due to inflation. Wages and salaries stay the same, or may even become less nowadays, due to a slew of U.S. companies are downsizing and cutting pay. The quality of life for most Americans has declined. Cities that were once thriving are now struggling to survive. Businesses are closing down due to constant theft and burglary. San Francisco, once a bustling city, is now a shadow of its former self. The relaxed standards on punishment for theft have only made matters worse, emboldening criminals to commit more crimes. One of my close friends has been affected by this wave of crime recently. My friend's house has been burglarized 3 times, with the police seemingly unable to do anything about it. Another friend of mine had his warehouse broken into, losing hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of merchandise. We also see a growing number of protests across the nation. Tensions escalated over pro-Palestinian student encampments at various college and university campuses, with a growing number of colleges and universities turning to the police to remove protesters, in addition to threatening disciplinary action for students engaged in the protests. Not only the colleges and universities suffered a serious toll from the damages caused by vandalism, but the students who paid tuition also suffered due to these violent protests because they can no longer get access to the resources they need. There are serious shortfalls in our military's recruiting. Unlike back in 2001, after my friends had witnessed the 9/11 tragedy transpired on television, majority of them were spurred to action to take the pledge. There was a strong sense of patriotism. Nowadays, I have noticed American patriotism is on the decline, especially among young Americans. We used to do the Pledge of Allegiance in classrooms and take pride for being Americans, because we as U.S. citizens do strongly believe we live in the best country ever. Nowadays, ideals such as love of country, religion, the desire to start and grow a family, the desire to serve the country, and even hard work have lost favor with the American people. A lot of young people prefer to become influencers. It seems like many members of the young generation are giving up on this country. They have developed this anti-American sentiment because they had been gaslighted by the one-sided media, or they are just not in fond with the current status quo in this country, whatever the reason may be. Another alarming issue that we have is that we only have two political parties that dominate the whole political landscape in this country. They are like the two polar ends that repel each other. We seldom see them work together. We got the Republican Party, which is in favor of Christianity, pro-life, and very supportive of the military. Then we also have the Democratic Party, which is in favor of women's right to abortion, bringing more asylum seekers for them to have a better life in this country and ameliorate the quality of education. What about if we have someone who chooses to be secular, pro-veterans and pro-choice? It seems like there are no other options to choose from. So it is either you support the Republicans or the Democrats and follow the ideologies and agendas of either party. There is no in-between. After I had watched the recent presidential debate, I noticed that President Biden had become old and frail. Therefore, that is the concern that Democrats may have, since President Biden is the only candidate left for the Democratic Party in this presidential race. Although President Trump appeared to be full of vigor, we certainly cannot ignore his age either. With the ongoing tensions between Taiwan and China, Russia and Ukraine, Israel and Palestine, Iran, in addition to these foreign policy and peace issues, there is also a range of other issues like abortion, immigration, and taxation. Being a president is an incredibly stressful job, and the stress will take a toll on the president's health. Another thing I want to address is that the presidential term is limited to only 4 years. So within this short term, whatever bill the president would like to pass can get struck down by courts. With that being said, the president may not be to complete all the agendas he has planned. It's hard to believe that this is the America we live in now, a once great nation, respected by others, now teetering on the brink of collapse. The upcoming election will determine the course of our future, and I can only hope that whoever is elected will be able to bring about positive change. America may be screwed right now, but there is still hope for a brighter tomorrow.